Hey guys, Crispin Pally guest hosting this week for Barry. I'm on my home lake, Kentucky Lake. I haven't fished here in a year nearly. This lake has been fishing super tough. This is my maiden voyage for 2020 on my home pond. We're gonna get out there and see what we can find. Stay tuned, because Let's Fish TV is on the air now.
That is a fish.
Oh man, look at this.
It's time for the only program that brings you real-time fishing reports from the Southwest region every week.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, look at that. Woo!
This is Let's Fish.
Hey guys, thanks for joining us this week. I'm Crispin Pally. I'm guest hosting for Barry, and we are coming to you live from Kentucky Lake. This is a impoundment of the Tennessee River. It's a big body of water. Kentucky Lake is 189 miles from dam to dam. Fish is incredibly big, and what is known pretty much throughout the bass fishing world as one of the best lakes ever has been in a really tough down cycle. However, I'm hearing some good things. This is my first time out on my home lake and probably since last summer. We're gonna be fishing predominantly spring patterns. I'm gonna break everything down as we're doing it so you could come here and do this or perhaps employ them on your home lake. Speaking of your home lake, we're gonna be getting you some relevant local information from regional reporters that are in tune with what's going on right where you are. I'm gonna drop this boat. Speaking of boats, we've got an all new low 198 Stinger I'm gonna be fishing out of today. It's rigged out with Lowrance electronics. It's got MotorGuide trolling motor power poles and a Mercury 4-stroke. We're gonna have a great time in this boat. Fish is awesome. But while I'm out here getting the boat put in, getting rigged up, I'm gonna send you back to the studio for your weekend plan.
Hello everyone, thanks for stopping by. The Salooner tables are predicting fair game fish activity both days this weekend. Look for those prime daytime hours to begin in the afternoon around 4:08 on Saturday and 5:10 on Sunday, with early morning action kicking off at 3:43 on Saturday and 4:45 on Sunday. Expect the sun to rise at 7:03 and set at 7:57. This weekend will display a moon that is 82% visible. We're coming right back with fishing reports from throughout the area. Plus, I'll return with Bassmaster Elite Angler Jamie Hartman on this week's Ask the Pro feature. Stick with us.
Guys, it's early spring. The water temperature is ranges from about 52 to about 54. The lake is coming up, as always in the southeast. It has rained for many days. It's supposed to rain again today and for the next several days. So we're dealing with varying water color. What I'm gonna concentrate on today is I'm gonna look for staging fish that are coming from where they would winter in deeper water up to points, channel banks, things of that nature where you're seeing these fish get ready to go shallow to spawn. Typically these fish are fat, they're hungry, they feed, they bite, but with the varying water levels and temperature, they can be a little finicky. So that's what I'm gonna do. We're gonna ease out here and I'm gonna spend most of my time fishing main river stuff and just inside the bays and creeks, not going to the back because I just don't think there's a lot of fish back there yet. So as we're going along, I'll explain what we're doing. Hang tight, let's go see what we can find.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Mercury. Go boldly. Lowrance, America's #1 fish finder. Lose, feel the difference. And by Gulf Shores and Orange Beach, Alabama. Get our free fishing guide at orangebeach.com.
Fat, pre-spawn, been eaten. Couldn't resist the thunder cricket, Kentucky Lake spotted bass. There's one in that brush pile. Oh, he's got me around something. Come here. One brush pile right in the middle of this ditch. Come here. It's a nice one. The old structure jig right where you want it, right in between his eyeballs. That one here's the cool thing, man. So the water's low right now, and there's not a lot of stuff in the water. The stuff these fish would normally get up against is just kind of not in, the water's not up to it yet. The water's probably lacks about 3 feet being where it really needs to be for the most cover to be in the water. In situations like that, on lakes like this, on Kentucky Lake where the water level fluctuates, what I would tell you is find you one log, one stump. In this case, there's one brush pile right there that I was trolling down through here and just saw it and got the right angle on it. And that is the odds of it having a fish are so great right now. As the water goes up, those fish will still get in those spots, but I think they're more valuable right now than they ever will be. And especially when this water's low, stay back off of them a little bit with your trolling motor, make a good cast, don't splash it, put it in the right spot or cast past it and pull into it. That one right there, I actually didn't make a great cast. And when I pulled up to it, I thought I was hung up and I felt him pull back, but you don't have to be good when they're biting. I'll take those every day.
Hi folks, Captain Greg Verm here for this week's Texas Coastal Report. Hey, we're going to start this week's report way down south at Port Mansfield. Hey, Captain Wayne Davis reported high water levels with an abundance of bait fish following the suit. Hey, the flats and back bays are the place to be, and Captain Wayne Davis is catching nice speckled trout and redfish back there. Hey, he said concentrate your efforts on the large flats holding bait. Get a knee to thigh deep water and you'll find plenty of action. Hey, K-Wiggler Willowtails and the Balltails in plum, blue metal flake colors are working the best. Hey, now up in Baffin, hey, Captain Chris Elliott says the topwater bite has been crazy good. Both redfish and specks are consistently crushing on top. Hey, focus on the shallow flats along wind-blown shorelines in 2 to 3 foot of water. Now, Captain Chris also said on the Bluebird sunny days, hey, he's targeting redfish in super skinny water, less than 1 foot, using very small paddle tails and 1/4 ounce gold spoons. Hey, the pro tip for the day, when the fish are super shallow, use a bait just large enough to get their attention. The bigger baits will generally spook the fish. Hey, remember, if you want to fish here in Freeport or Galveston Bay, and we have lodging here at Bay's Landing, give me a call, check out our websites, and snapper season's open in June 1st, and let's fish.
There's one right there. Oh. Sucker's mean, whatever. Come here. Old thunder cricket. Look at that, that's a spotted bass. That's a chunk spotted bass too. I'm gonna tell you what, boys and girls, on this lake, you don't catch an old spot much prettier than that one right there. That is a fat, pre-spawn, been eaten, couldn't resist the thunder cricket, Kentucky Lake spotted bass. Kind of a neat deal. I'm on a flat right here. There's a back channel off the river that runs against it, and there's a ton of current. And there's one little brush pile right there on the point of this island. And that guy right there, I reeled that thunder cricket bite and just loaded up on it. And here's a real quick tip for you. When you get in areas like this where there's a lot of current, there's a lot of turbulence, sometimes you want to go with something like that thunder cricket that puts off just a ton of thump, a ton of vibration, because I think in all that turbid water, it helps them locate it and find it. So I'm convinced it works. I'm gonna spun back around, throw back up there and see if his twins up there. That's about as good as they get right there, boys and girls, on Kentucky Lake. That's a fat spotted bass. That's a pretty one right there. We're gonna let this fat fella go. There's one. He's way out here. Let's look at that one. Golly, Bill. I'll take that right there all day, every day. See, it seems like if I ever pick the jig up, I never get a bite. All my bites come on casts where I just drag it. And another thing, I had this old guy teach me one time, Dave Barnett, old buddy of mine from Missouri. I was as good a jig fisherman as I've ever known. And he taught me something. He goes, everybody wants to put a lot of action on a jig. He said, if you're trying to emulate a crawfish, which we typically are, he said, man, he goes, do you think them crawfish are jumping around? He said, being real erratic, they're typically sneaking around, trying not to let one of these spotted bass find them and eat them. He said, you know, when you're in the right scenario, he said, keep that rod tip down and drag, make real short, subtle movements that would be real natural. There's one. Even way out here. Come here. Another big spot. Don't got a chance. Look at that one. Golly, Bill. That's a toad. It's been a pretty good spot fishing day. And right there's a big one. I'll take that right there all day, every day. Look, here's the thing about spots. They're oftentimes super aggressive, but they are a sucker for a little jig. And that little 3/4 ounce Denny Brauer baby structure jig, it has a 0 degree line tie and it's got a 2/0 owner hook in it. But the shape of that head with that line tie, I'm telling you, it is poison on those deeper fish. The way you've just got so much more gap there for them to get it in their mouth. You don't miss a lot of fish with that jig. And that one right there sure didn't miss it. I bet he wished that it had a different hook in it.
Hi everybody, and welcome to this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Fort Worth Fishing, DFW's premier guide service specializing in crappie. They'll put you and the family on a mess of fish and you'll have a lot of fun. Fort Worth Fishing. Now last week we talked about post-spawn bass down south. This week we're going north all the way up to the Red River and Lake Texoma. You'll find largemouths and smallmouths still in the spawning process, but there's also plenty of post-spawn fish, and I prefer to try and catch those fish as they've come off the spawn and they're hungry and feeding. Look to your ledges and rock transitions. That is where big boulders go to smaller rocks to gravel and sand. Stay in those areas and fish around the 6-foot watermark. You're going to start your day with top waters, and you're going to want to use spinner baits and even the old school hair jigs. Now, over at Lake Athens, the MLF guys just wrapped up water performance they put on, but you know, I didn't see anybody fishing that deep grass pattern at Athens. It should be about time for that to fire off. Grass on Lake Athens grows out to around 12 feet, and then it's a pretty sheer wall on the outside edge. Fish that wall with either your Senkos, your spinner baits, and early in the day, is there any more fun than throwing a frog over the top of matted grass? That's this week's Lone Star Lakes, brought to you once again by Fort Worth Fishing.
Well, spring has finally sprung here in Oklahoma with some of those typical April thunderstorms rolling through, dropping heavy rains in some areas, missing others altogether. But regardless of where you live, fishing activity is picking up all across the state for a variety of species. Now, one of the most consistent types of areas the past couple of weeks have been in the tail race areas below dams that are releasing water. So today I'm below Ulaga Dam. Water is being released. I've got a bunch of fishermen out today fishing for a lot of different species. Now in this particular part of the area, you can catch walleye, crappie, white bass, paddlefish, catfish, just about anything that swims. Now the guys that are throwing the bigger heavy rigs trying to snag paddlefish are having a tough time with the current today. I've seen a few channel cats caught on live earthworms, a few small sand bass caught on small spinners and jigs. But it seems like the crappie fishermen that are a little farther downstream in the more protected areas are having the best success, and they're using live minnows and crappie jigs. But one of the coolest things I've discovered today is a couple of families that say this is the first time they have fished in many, many years. And I think, you know, with all this craziness going on in our world, I think that's one of the coolest things about this is creating some time to rediscover the great outdoors, and some are definitely doing that here today. You know, it's a great time to be fishing in the state. I hope you are getting out and taking advantage of it. You can't catch them if you don't go, so let's fish. But most importantly, stay healthy and well.
Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by MotorGuide's Tour Pro, cable steer motor with GPS anchor, WAYPOINT Marine, the Gulf Coast's leading saltwater boating specialist, Strike King, Taiwan On, and by Low Boats. Welcome to Low Country.
Oh yeah, that is a good one. That's a big spot. Come here. They don't get any prettier than that right there. There's one. Come here, come here, come here, come here. Come on. He's shaking his head. Feels like a better one. Oh yeah, that is a good one. That's a big spot. Come here. Woo, come here. Come here, pretty girl. Man, that's a big spot right there. 3/8 ounce Denny Brauer baby structure jig. Look at the belly on that fish. They don't get any prettier than that right there. Big old fat. I mean, you don't think that fish has been eating good. She thought that old structure jig was a crawfish. These are just such cool fish. They're school fish. They're aggressive fish. You can catch them deep. You can catch them shallow. And what I love is just how many of them you typically catch at one time. That's a nice spotted bass. And I'm telling you what, I would come out here and fish for that every day. Will that win a tournament on this lake? No. But there's a lot of places around the country where that's about as good as a spot gets. And around here, that's certainly on the upper end of the spectrum. So I'm gonna let this little feller go, or big feller, and we're gonna get out there and get us another one.
Hey friends, Captain Kevin Broussard here with Let's Fish Southwest. Tell you what, we're gonna talk about Toledo Bend right now. Still lots of big bass getting caught, and I tell you what, crappie action is heating up. The crappie are starting to move a little deeper, 25, 30 feet of water, but they're suspended about 15, 20 foot down. Tell you what, live shiner seems to be the best on that right there. Right here, Hackberry, Louisiana, tell you what, right here on the Gulf Coast, we're starting to get in that early summertime pattern. Lots of speckled trout, lots of redfish. Trout over your deeper reefs, tell you what, bird action, lots of speckled trout, soft plastics, work slowly seems to be the key there. Redfish, tell you what, live shrimp under a cork, next to the grass line, find you a little moving water on a point, you're gonna catch them. For Old Cajun Phil, Captain Kevin Broussard saying happy fishing and may God bless. See you next week.
Oh, I love it when that happens. Come on. Come here, come on, come on, come on, come on. Running out of daylight. I need to get you in the boat. Look at that. This is pretty cool. So, last spot, I'm running in. I tell Chris, hey, I've got this one little stake bed that I always pull in there on. Always catch one. Pull in there. Second cast, thunder cricket. Catch that fat dude right there. Well, let me put him back. I'm gonna tell you something real quick. One of the things that I believe makes me better with this thunder cricket, if I can figure out, I've got it wrapped around everything in the boat. I fish my thunder cricket a little bit different than most people do. If you were to look, this is a swim bait rod. It has got a very, very moderate tip to it. And I throw this is the only thing on earth that I fish. I'm trying to remember what gear ratio this is. Let me see if it tells. A 6-8 to 1. This is the Tournament Pro. It's a 6-8 to 1. Everything else I throw reel wise has got, 8-3 to 1, a minimum of a 7-5 to 1. This dude right here makes me fish that thunder cricket at the right speed because I have a tendency to fish it real fast. This bait, just the inherent nature of it, it wants to rise. This bait, this reel makes me keep it down. So here's the deal. Get the right rod and get the reel that makes you fish a bait at the right speed. If you know you're like me and you got a lead foot when it comes to reeling, just get you one with a slower gear ratio, but I can't do it for everything, but it works pretty good with the old thunder cricket.
Watch our latest episode or catch up on past episodes on our website at letsfishtv.com. Be sure to hit the subscribe button on our YouTube channel, like us on Facebook, and follow us on Twitter for new fishing videos every day. And download the free WAYPOINT TV app to get all the latest episodes every week on your phone, tablet, computer, or smart TV. Let's Fish TV is proudly backed by Bobby Garland Crappie Baits and the original Baby Shad and new slab Huntar Minnow. Glacier Glove. Stay outdoors longer with our gloves, hats, and shades. Balls Out. Made in the USA. Heavy-duty mounts for your fish finders. And by Camus Boats. Tomorrow's tournament boat today.
Welcome back, everyone. Let's get right to your Ask the Pro question for this week. Charlie wants to know, when you are fishing for a bedding bass, how long should you stay with one fish before you give up and move on? For an answer, we asked Bassmaster Elite Angler Jamie Hartman.
There is no set time for sitting on a bedding fish. You have to be able to read that fish to see how he's reacting to you in the bait. If you set a time, you're gonna miss out on some opportunities, I think. So I'm gonna look at the fish and see how they're reacting to the bait, and if she's locked or not, or he's locked. And if they're locked, I'm gonna spend more time. If they're not locked and they're not coming back a lot, then I'm gonna get out of there and go to the next one.
Thank you, Jamie. If you want some help from one of the pros, simply go to letsfishtv.com and follow the Ask the Pro link to submit your very own question. Now it's time to find out who wins this week's Big Catch of the Week.
It's time for this week's winner of the Big Catch of the Week contest. This week's winner is Brent Herbeck of Carrollton, Texas, with a 53-pound blue catfish from Cedar Creek Reservoir. To enter the contest, go to letsfishtv.com, click on the Big Catch box on the homepage, and follow the instructions. Or you can post your photo on any Tuesday Big Catch post on our Facebook page at facebook.com/letsfishtv. You could have your big fish shown here on our show. Caught several fish, caught a few on a thunder cricket, but undoubtedly the MVP of my tackle selection today was this 3/8 ounce Denny Brauer baby structure jig. I cannot overstate how good this little jig is, especially when you're fishing for, as it turned out today, we got into some spotted bass, and this little jig is just a bite-sized morsel that they love. A couple of the key attributes, it's got this, what we call this cobra-shaped head, and it also has, what I think is most important, is this owner cut and point hook with this 0 degree. A lot of jigs have, the hook eye is up here, where you tie your line to. This one is straight out the front of the hook. And what that does is it just increases the bite as the fish gets it in its mouth. So it's got a big area, and you just don't miss fish or lose fish with this jig and this hook. Another thing that's really important is having tons of room. I've got rods scattered all over the deck, and this Low Stinger 198 has 83 feet of deck space, all in an aluminum boat. You know, we're at such a unique, new, odd place in our country, in our world right now with this pandemic that we're dealing with. It is certainly a real thing, and it's certainly cause for concern. But here's what I want to tell you. You have a choice every day to feed your faith or feed your fear. And I choose to feed my faith. You know, in the Bible, Isaiah 41:10 says, "Do not be afraid, for I am with you." And I just have to constantly repeat that to myself. This is a concerning deal. It is a very real thing that we should have respect for, but don't let it change your life. Live life to the fullest. Live life not in fear, but in faith. Live a life of joy. Love others, and we're gonna make the best of this. You have a unique opportunity right where you are to be the redeeming factor in your social circle. Thanks for hanging with me today. I hope you learned something, that you could come here to Kentucky Lake and catch some of those largemouth and spotted bass like I did. I had a ball. And I'm Crispin Pally. God bless.
Hey guys, thanks for watching. If you want to see more fishing tips, how-to videos, big fish catches, and full episodes of our Let's Fish TV show, be sure to subscribe right here to our YouTube channel. You can also like our Facebook page and follow us on Twitter. Good fishing out there.